anyone in the room here procrastinate? Any of you have an employee, spouse, honey-do list, things that might be a day late, a month late, your life late? So procrastination was a really fascinating one to me because since I'm an engineer, my husband thinks it's hysterical. I take data on myself. So one of my things was when I was trying to figure out how to help people overcome procrastination, because I see it huge, like I see it at the global level, I see it at the city level, I see it at corporate level, I see it in my husband's honey-do list and my own honey-do list. So one day I just was like, I noticed I was kept procrastinating a phone call. And in fact, we now have Outlook, so if you're really good at procrastination, and I measured myself, I had a call I was supposed to make. I kept procrastinating it. So I actually calculated how much time I spent every day moving the call on my Outlook calendar. How many of you have ever done that? Yeah. And it was fascinating to me for a call that would take me about 15, 20 minutes of my life. I spent 45 days and a total of 2 hours and 15 minutes putting that call elsewhere. Okay? And like I said, since I was an engineer, I was hysterical because, it was automatic. I'd be like, oh, I'm busy today, and I'd just push it. It's really easy in Outlook to go 24 hours. Just change the date, and it's off your thing. Oh, feels great, right? Unfortunately, procrastination is another symptom of something I've taught and talked about earlier. So remember that whole thing I said about being uncomfortable every day, and you have to be uncomfortable every day? We procrastinate to avoid discomfort. There is something around that thing that's making us uncomfortable. So, the bad news is procrastinators don't get very far, right? The good news is I was in another class with another one of my mentors, and I said, what would you tell someone who keeps procrastinating? I said, I need a practice. I can't go into any more companies and tell them anything if I can't give them something they can do, okay? And he goes, swallow the frog. And I said, there was a famous author who said that. Anybody know who that famous author was? Swallow the frog? He's from the South. He had a buddy. Mark Twain, that's right. Right. So what I'm going to invite you to do is a practice, and then the bonus is you can actually declare if you're a manager or you run a group or even in your own family. It works. We actually have a Saturday time where it's like, okay, everything we've been avoiding all week, family, we're going to do. So that's called procrastination hour. But each day, you can actually put a little spot on your calendar. It could be 15 to 30 minutes. And the only thing you get to do in that time slot is pick the top 3 things you're procrastinating and take 5 minutes of action. Not much, 5. I built a business on 5 minutes of action for 2 years. That's the brilliance of it. I have a whole real estate investment business separate of my company that I didn't know how to do it. I didn't even want to do it. It terrified me, but every day I had to set the time and just said, I'm just going to do so many minutes, and I'm going to figure it out. And then 2 years later, I'm now in residential real estate investment. Okay? So if you can set the golden time aside for yourself, and then how this looks at a bigger level is you actually start setting it aside in your employees' work schedules, your team's work schedules, you are going to see mountains move. And in fact, now, my second bonus thing I'll just tell you is the minute you try to move something off your calendar, don't let yourself move anything until you take 5 minutes of action. So it's okay to move it as long as you spend 5 minutes of focused on it. And again, you're going to be shocked at how much stuff doesn't get procrastinated because it's the mind's trick, it's not yours.